If you want your country prosper, go and more nutmeg and banana.
Hi there, I am Mike Noel. Welcome to the Nutmeg Tree. Last week we brought you the first part of an address by Agriculture Minister Roland Bola as he addressed the recently held AGM of the GCNA. Today we bring you the second part of that address.
Friends, despite many challenges confronting the agricultural sector, there has been a highly comparable performance during the last few years following the passage of Hurricane Ivan and Emily in 2004 and 2005 respectively. For example, growth in the sector between 2009 and 2013 ranged from 9% in 2009 to 15% in 2012. And only yesterday, the Cabinet, along with our PSAs and senior officers in the various ministries, had what is referred to as a budget retreat at the Trade Center, where the call was made for the start of preparation for the 2015 budget. And again, it was pointed out by the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance that one of the bright spots for 2014 again was agriculture, because there was some growth in that sector. The contribution of the agri-food sector to the gross domestic product has also been growing over the years. For example, in 2009, the sector contribution to GDP was 6.62%, and in 2012, it was 7.5%. In terms of monetary contribution, in 2009, the sector contribution was $101.54 million, and in 2012, $140 million. It is instructive to note that while the agricultural sector continues to grow unabatedly, other major sectors are still lagging behind. Specific to nutmeg sector. My friends, despite the enormous decline of the nutmeg industry caused principally by Hurricane Ivan in 2004, there is no doubting that this industry continues to be hugely important, as I said before, to the socio-economic development of Grenada. In 2012, over 22 million was made from the export of nutmeg and maize. It is important to point out that this was achieved largely as a result of the exceedingly good price of the commodity on the international market. Because it must be stressed that production of nutmegs was lower in 2012 as compared to 2011. In relation to the first 6 months of 2014, there has been a marked increase in production compared to 2013, where 1.647 million pounds of nutmegs was produced in 2013 compared to 1.071 million in 2013. But note, colleagues, that while there has been such an amazing increase in production for 2014, there was a decline in export earnings during the 6 months period under review. It is also interesting to note that despite the decline in earnings during the first 6 months period of 2014 compared to 2013, more money was paid out to farmers, with 9,058,918 paid in 2014 compared to $5,806,713 in 2013. My distinguished guests and audience, farmers all, when I look at the nutmeg subsector, I'm seeing an industry that has immense potential to transform the rural economy in Grenada. But a lot has to be done in order to achieve that goal. I am aware that there has been a number of very good initiatives that have been undertaken over the last few years geared at rehabilitating this pivotal industry. For example, the work done in developing the nutmeg strategy is worthy of acknowledgement. I am of the strong view that if the strategy is fully implemented, then real progress can be made in moving the industry forward. The strategy has identified 6 key areas. 1. Reinforce access to market information to enable better decision making for the sector. 2. To reinforce capacity in GCNA to better compete and to develop the nutmeg industry in Grenada. 3. Increase quality and quantity of nutmegs and maize collected and supplied to GCNA. 4, to improve access to finance for all stakeholders to facilitate the sector to operate better and to manage risk much better. 5, to improve cross-ministry coordination and public-private partnership, as we call it now, PPP, for better policy making. And 6, ensure the long-term sustainability of the nutmeg industry in Grenada. Those were taken from the strategy. It is my sincere hope that the leaders in the industry should ensure that these strategies are foremost in their mind for implementation. For the Ministry of Agriculture's part, I can assure you that we will play our part in providing support to the development of the nutmeg industry as we have done before, by continuing to propagate plants and give as much technical assistance as is needed. The implementation of the Center for Development Enterprise, which is a project that was a very positive development in industry over the last couple of years. The project was designed principally to conduct research into marketing value-added products, provide assistance with HACCP standards, and the biochemical composition of the Grenada nutmeg. I sincerely hope that the industry has benefited from that project, and that all the recommendations which have been provided would be taken on board and implemented. The Nutmeg Festival, which was held 2 years ago, was a very good initiative, as it sought to raise public awareness on the importance of the nutmeg and spice industry in Grenada. It is also my hope that the GCNA would continue to lead the efforts in ensuring that the nation is well aware of the enormous importance of the industry and how everyone could play a part and contribute in the further development of the industry. Also, the study being conducted to explore the feasibility of establishing a Spice Research Institute is a noble one, which can only impact positively on the development of the spice industry in Grenada. I hope that the consultants who did this study would have provided the Grenada Nutmeg Association with very practical and feasible options, in determining the way forward with respect to the spice industry in this country. The implementation of the Spice Research and Farming System, which was initially funded by the European Union and now funded by the government of Grenada, is definitely a very positive development which has occurred in the industry and highlights the importance of research and development in advancing the progress of the nutmeg and spice industry in Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, farmers all, no serious industry could develop without a good research and development agenda. The many intractable problems of the industry could only be solved through painstaking research and development activities. And I admonish the farmers and the board, whichever or whoever would be elected, to take seriously the issue of research and development. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some key things that must be done in the nutmeg industry if the nutmeg industry is to remain sustainable and provide the quality of livelihood which the farmers and other stakeholders deserve. Of significant importance, one, is to expand the production through a rigorous planting program. We have been able to propagate about 17,000 plants so far that is available, and based on the reports from the agronomy division, we should have at least another 3,000 to 4,000 by the end of September. We must work assiduously in trying to arrest the nutmeg wilt problem. It is of no use that we continue to propagate plants, that farmers continue to plant, and just when they should be harvesting, the trees go down. And I know some work has been done, and we need to intensify it, and we need to implement the recommendations that was given. We have to look towards improving the human resource capacity of the GCNA now and in the ensuing future. We have to improve the efficiency in the industry in doing much more with less resources. We are living in a situation now where the economies of our Caribbean islands are not as good as they used to be before. where we are expected to almost work miracles, where we are expected to stretch the dollar further and to get more for less. In our own country, we have implemented a structural adjustment program. And if we look around us in the region, today, the people of St. Lucia, the public servants, they are looking at a 5% cut in salary. The people of Barbados, the government will have just retrenched almost 4,000 or a little over 4,000 persons. And that is after a 6-year period of no salary increase. These issues do not affect only governments, but institutions like GCNA have to take on board the fact that from our part of the region, not much would change in terms of our economic conditions as long as the bigger, more developed nations like the US, Germany, Japan, and those places continue to have problems. So we need to look seriously at greater efficiency. We need to improve the governance of the industry. We must move speedily to implement the Nutmeg strategy. We need to explore more value-added addition into the nutmeg industry. There have been some already, the nutmeg spray and other things that have been done, but we need to do a lot more for expansion with value-added. We need to provide training to farmers in critical areas such as the ASAP standards, the agribusiness, agronomy and management of nutmeg, soil management, nutmeg wilt disease, and so forth. We need to reconfigure the nutmeg processing center with a view to make them more HACCP compliant. There were some attempts before. There were problems, but I do not believe because there were problems we need to just throw it aside. We need to relook. We need to understand what went wrong and what we need to do to ensure that we can continue to work there. We also have to work closer with stakeholders involved in the nutmeg value chain. And GCNA needs to provide budgetary support for research and development activities in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, farmers all, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Lands and the Environment to congratulate the nutmeg farmers, the Board of Directors of the Nutmeg Association and the management for once again completing what is and can be referred to as a fairly successful year where farmers continue to receive reasonable prices for the nutmeg. It is our hope from the Ministry that both the Nutmeg Association and the Ministry of Agriculture would continue to work assiduously during the upcoming year to ensure that the industry continues to develop and prosper and that all stakeholders, inclusive of the Grenada economy, would be able to optimize all the potential benefits from this vitally important industry. I would like to implore upon management and board of directors to continue to find practical solutions to the problems which confront the subsector and to always keep the farmers abreast with all decisions which are taken on their behalf. Similarly, I would like that farmers would work closely with the management team and support them in every possible way. A high level of trust is needed in the industry if we are to achieve our goals in developing this crucial subsector. The Ministry of Agriculture will continue to work closely with the GCNA to provide support in whatever way we can, and within the confines of our financial and technical possibilities. I want to underscore that. The Ministry of Agriculture will continue to work closely with GCNA to provide support in whatever way we can within the confines of our financial and technical possibilities. Because sometimes when we say we will give support, sometimes requests are made outside of the ability financially and otherwise of the ministry. So I want to make it quite clear that we are very open, we will help, but it is within the confines of our ability. I sincerely hope that this year would be much more successful than the preceding years, as far as production, sales, and returns to farmers are concerned. I wish that those recommendations will be taken seriously and that the new board will work and work well to ensure that our farmers are the beneficiaries at the end of the day. I thank you and may God bless.
That was Agriculture Minister Roland Bola addressing the recently held AGM of the GCNA. The first part of that address was broadcast last week. We'll stop here for today. I am Mike Noel reporting.
If you want your country prosper, go